Okay, you got to explain data wrangler now. The image in my head is confusing and hilarious. So when a show is shot digitally, someone is in charge of all that data. They got to back it up and they got to label it so that when it goes to the editor knows what they're looking at. That job belongs to the data wrangler, but they have other jobs as well. They'll often work closely with the DP, the director of photography, to make sure that the scene is well lit, so that it's like the color temperature is right. The scene, if it's too hot or too cold, then they'll bring down the lights or throw a filter on. So that's the job of the data wrangler. On the first show my partner and I ran, we were on set a lot, all the time actually, and the data wrangler would also be in charge of the monitors that we watched. So we would sit with him 12, 13 hours a day, and you get to know this person. And he was a very sweet, kind of unassuming guy. And it turns out he had worked in production for a long, long time. And before he became a data wrangler, he held almost every other job on the set. So he knew a lot. And on set, so we were the showrunners, but they don't tell you. So a showrunner, you start off as a writer, and then you work your way up to head writer. And that's the path you take. And then as showrunner, you are ultimately in charge of all the creative decisions on the show. But you're on set, and we don't come up on the production side mostly, so we don't know usually a lot about that. So problems would arise that we would have to arbitrate the answer to. We really wouldn't know the answer. For example, the DP, the director of photography, and the AD, the assistant director, would often quarrel. So the DP would be like, I want to set up the shot. It's going to take X amount of time, but it's going to be a beautiful shot. And we're like, yes, that's what we want. We agree with you. Then the AD would be like, but that shot's going to take a long time to set up. That's going to push us over budget, off schedule. Heads are going to roll, starting with yours. Okay, now we agree with you. So who's right? We would often turn to the data wrangler, who we got to know really well, and say, hey, he became our trusted consigliere. What do you think? What would you do in our shoes? And he would say, well, the AD's being a little bit of a drama queen here, or the DP's out of line. Like he kind of knew. And so we would turn to him for help. And that's kind of how we ran the show throughout the seasons. And this may seem, obvious, but a lot of showrunners don't do that. We would empower our department heads to kind of make their own decisions. And if they had problems, come to us. And for the most part, we wouldn't micromanage. But other showrunners are not that way. They'd like to get their fingers in every pot. And that's just not how we ran it. But good question. Thank you so much. For more answers, keep following me here. And if you want, subscribe to my weekly newsletter. It's free. I send it out every Friday. Lots of great stuff. You could sign up for it here. You could wrangle that data here at Michael Jamin Writer.